had a missed call.
You did what?
I came upstairs from going to the toilet, and I saw that I had a missed call.
Hi everyone, I'm Ethan McKinley. It's the 2-Minute Terminator. It's episode 35. We're going from minutes 68 to 70. Hit the music.
Watch out for machines, they're unstoppable. Watch out for machines, they will rule the world.
So Eleanor.
Yo,
Oh, you're still there.
I'm still here, yes. And the whole world knows that I was just taking a piss.
Whoa. Tell us what you really think.
What's taking the piss or going for a piss? It's all shit, really. No, yes, apologies that I missed the call. But I'm here now. No worries, no qualms. I have no qualms with you.
No qualms with you. Yeah, everyone. We're going from the line, Are You Alright? And a cop car driving into the garage, the one that the T800 and Sarah Connor and John have stolen from the mental institution. So there we go. It's episode 35. I'm Ethan McKinley, as I said before.
I'm Ellie Fitzgerald.
She's Ellie Fitzgerald, and this is the 2-Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time.
Woo.
But before we do that, would anyone else out there like to know another one of my innocent misadventures? Shit keeps happening to me in my life, listeners, and if you follow the shows, the last 10 at least, you know, we've seen everyone else getting on in life through no fault of
Should I
their
get
own.
out the world's smallest violin?
You probably get out the world's biggest violin for this, Ellie, because as we know, my agent rang me today, and I thought it was actually to fire me. I thought, because I've been writing to other agencies, I thought perhaps someone at another agency has told them, and then they're going to shit can me anyway, because that's happened to a few friends of mine. But no, it was a kind of dismissal of sorts, but not before they told me the entire agency was being disbanded, and they were also fired, and along with all the actors.
Hit your targets or you'll be fired. They clearly didn't hit their targets.
Yeah, so essentially, I'm agentless, Ellie, and it's not from anything I've done. Off
Does
air.
that mean that you're...
Off
Sorry,
air,
carry
by
on.
the way, Ellie has even said how much ill shit can happen to one person.
Yeah, it's seriously fucked up, man. What I think has happened is one of your exes has gone to some, like, voodoo witch doctor, and they've put a hex on you so that everything you try for is just going to blow up in your face like a bomb.
But any person, yeah, but who would you go to kind of undo that curse? Because if you don't know exactly what's wrong with you, you could go to a million snake.
Speak to Graham, get him to drop some, like, shaman connects or something. I don't know.
Shamans
Shaman.
across the galaxy.
Can you please just say to him... Actually, no, don't, because this is your show and it's a serious show. Forget it. Oh, forget it.
No, I'm going to try and have fun with him.
I just don't know why I don't know why he pronounces things weird. Like, I've never had anyone ever call a shaman a shaman. It's just fucking bizarre. And he speaks good English. He is English. We saw him the other day at Foyles, didn't we?
I think shaman is the correct way of pronouncing it in their language.
Who's there?
Peruvian,
the language
maybe?
of the gods.
No, whatever they speak in Peru. Is it Peruvian or like some South American dialect? But I think he's reappropriated that because I suppose he's slightly, because he's so travelled, maybe has a mid-Atlantic twinge on his voice, and he's put his own little special sauce on it, and he calls them shamans.
Shaman.
But I mean, the upshot of it is I'm agentless.
Oh, but you've been firing out emails left, right, and centre, haven't you?
I have, Ellie, and
you're not wallowing. You're being proactive.
The replies are coming in.
They just all know.
Bill and Ted, they are actually. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure actor Alex Winter has agreed to be on the podcast, and I'm going to interview him with audio only, sadly, which will be on the 30th, the day before my birthday.
Ah, Oh, because it is your birthday this week, Ethan, is it not?
It is, yes. It's my birthday on Thursday,
You're going
I
to be
believe.
30 again.
Yeah.
Woo! Happy 30th, Ethan. How does it feel? Well, we're not quite there yet.
I'm not quite there yet. I've not assimilated it into my... If I'm moving around the mic, listeners, I apologise. I'm just setting up the thing so I can actually watch this clip. Right.
Have you not even set it up yet?
It's set up, so I mean the battery I've not put in. I've got 6%.
Batteries at 1%. Get to the charger!
Yeah, so before we begin the show, everyone, thank you for bearing with us. Markham and Froggatt, one of London's largest agencies. Let's check our reply.
Oh. Also, shout out to anyone that didn't see the moon last night. I think tonight you can actually see the blood moon eclipse again. It's the 4th one.
I couldn't care less.
Oh. Well, that's because you've got no magic in your soul.
I gave it last night, and it betrayed me by appearing 3 hours when it was meant to on the report. So kiss my ass, blood moon.
I told you, dude, because of all the shitty smog in fucking Birmingham, you wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
Anyway, Jill at Troika Talent got back to me.
Go on then.
Well, Troika have some of the Game of Thrones actors. Richard Madden, I believe. Sean Harris, who plays the bad guy in Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, with the whispery voice like that, and he's the same in it. He's the same in every film. Him.
Like he's suffering from throat cancer.
The one from Prometheus.
Oh God, that guy.
With the Mohican, yeah, him. Hi, Ethan. Thank you for your inquiry. Unfortunately, Gary is unable to take on any new clients at the moment. With several clients about to embark on new projects, there isn't enough time or space to take on new talent. We wish you the very best of luck in your future pursuits. Jill Reagan, Office of Gary Sullivan, Troika.
I've often thought, from working in an office, I wish there was some way that you could send through like a punch to the face through a computer screen, so that when someone opens an email, a fist just comes out and just fucking clocks them right on the chin.
Ooh, this one's in 3D. No,
That would be
well,
amazing, though.
no, but I guess it's all part of the course. I mean, as I've read you these letters as the days have gone on, you know, you can see the kind of like the basic template they send out to everyone. Unfortunately, we're unable to take on new clients. We're devoting time to our regular clients. That's probably true, but it's very much of a pat cookie cutter reply.
How would you feel if someone emailed back and just said, I've looked at your show reel and I think it's fucking shocking, you're bollocks, I can't believe you even emailed me. Would you reply?
Yeah, I'd find that pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would make my day, as opposed to just the generic bulk task, send out a bulk email to people that aren't going to fucking be on your books.
Yeah, well,
someone that actually got some passion and was really pissed off that you even fucking contacted them and got really irate and thought you were crap. I thought that'd be so funny.
Well, here's one more. This is from John T at Markham and Froggatt. Thanks so much for Markham and Froggatt.
Oh.
Are you done?
Yes.
Thanks so much for thinking of me. It looks as though you've been doing some interesting work. Sadly, we are not able to help you out here at the moment. Forgive us. But I'm sure you'll find the right agent soon. Good luck. Best wishes, John T.
That one sounds a little less generic, though.
Yeah, I'm going to reply back. I often think of you, John T. Thank you.
John T. Oh, my God. Who's called John T? Seriously.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
We've got some mailbag.
I was going to say, yeah, get the mailbag out because we've got a right. Someone's written in.
Oh, it's out and it's open and it is ready for fucking.
I've not read it, so this will be new for me.
Have you not?
No. Go ahead.
Oh, this was a delightful read for me whilst I was having my hellish day at work. Okay, so obviously the one and only, my Uber fan who's all big and gun-like. Hi guys, it's Boldner, of course. Here's my take on Bigfoot. Oh God, here we go. Oh, this is when we're gonna fall out. I want him to be real. Okay. Because I like the mystery that surrounds the whole idea. However, I'm of the right mind to laugh my arse off at all the Sasquatches and the running through the woods hooting and hollering squatch mating calls. Plus, if the word squatch were to appear from the English vocabulary, it would be a huge disservice to all mankind. I like to think the Loch Ness monster is real too. See, Spalding's the fucking badass for all the same reasons. Although I think Nessie is starting to lose footing in the conspiracy community and is being forgotten. Ah, wow. What do you think of that, Ethan? Why does Bigfoot get more coverage than Nessie?
Well, because Bigfoot is a more legitimate mystery or myth.
Is it though?
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster, of course, if I guess myth and legend would have it, is a plesiosaur, which is an air-breathing reptile. That means it would have to come up quite a lot for air, so it would be seen all the time and constantly. If the Loch Ness Monster is actually real, it's either a conger eel or a very large sturgeon. We know this, Spalding, because conger eels come to spawn. But Ellie, what are you doing?
I'm listening to you.
Well, the line keeps cracking, so whatever you're doing, stop doing it.
I haven't done anything. I haven't even moved.
Are you tinkering around with your hands-free kit and it's brushing against an item of clothing?
Actually, yes, I'm wearing a zip top. I do apologise.
Yeah, cancel that. Get rid of it.
Get rid.
As I was saying, the Loch Ness Monster, if it is anything, it's most likely a sturgeon or a conger eel. The reason the conger eel theory prevails is because conger eels come to many Scottish lochs to spawn. But if a female doesn't spawn, they just kind of like grow bigger and slightly immortal. When an eel like spawns, essentially, it creates this mineral deficiency once they've mated, and this like quick demise happens in them. So once they've mated and like given birth, they kind of essentially just die. If an eel doesn't do that, I think the chemical trigger in the body, along with the hormones, they just seem to get bigger and bigger. So that's one reason why they think eels. There's a very giant eel in there, and I mean, ones have since come and gone and died, of course. But every now and again, a giant eel just gets bigger and bigger until it carks it.
Like the guy at the end of, one of the guards at the end of Big Trouble in Little China.
Exactly, but I mean, they claim some of these eels can get up to 70 feet long. I'm not sure what they're basing that on.
Fucking hell.
Well, like I said, we don't know what they're basing that on. There's a good book actually called The Loch by Steve Alten, who kind of proposed this theory, and it's, I guess, the most legitimate, that it's basically just a giant mutated eel.
I love that picture of that they've spliced together. There's the Pass and Gimli image, and then there's that famous Loch Ness picture, and it looks like Bigfoot is riding Nessie. I think that picture's fucking awesome. We should put that on the page. It's a good one. Anyway, so yes.
The Bigfoot thing, I couldn't agree more. Those Finding Bigfoot shows are ridiculous. I will, of course, point all our listeners, including you, Spoldo, to two books. One called The Hooper Project by David Paulides, who's a retired police officer who kind of broke down the case forensically, essentially, with evidence, and submitted many DNA samples to a lady called Melba Ketchum at DNA Diagnostics in Texas, and they actually got a pass. They had 100 samples, and it passed as a new species. However, all the peer review studies that it was sent to, they didn't say actually what it was, but they went, "Oh my God, you've discovered a new species." When they actually admitted what and where they'd got the samples, and what they thought it was,
shut down.
It was shut down. They didn't want their names put on the papers, and they were kind of essentially embargoed to kind of like
so
go
fucked
ahead
up, man. Because you actually went to a talk, David Paulides' talk, didn't you?
I did in Los Angeles.
You were able to ask him a question.
I did.
What did you ask?
I can't remember now. I've got an audio recording of it somewhere. It's even on YouTube.
You do.
I'll link it. You can hear my bizarre British accent going, "What do you think?" Yeah.
Hey, you, the British guy.
But yeah, I think because it's such a fringe thing, it really shouldn't be. I think there's quite a lot of evidence. Jane Goodall, of course, the famous primatologist, thinks they're real. There's a lot of good evidence out there to suggest they are real, but sadly, it's considered fringe.
They are. I mean, the way it was brought to me, I'd never really heard anything about Sasquatch until I'd met you, Ethan. But and then I believed. But it was. I think the angle that you came from is what got me interested in it, and it's actually, let's just put the Sasquatch thing to one side, which is kind of what I think Paulides does, and he just actually looks at the facts of what he has. So you look at all these missing cases, and it's his famous book, The Missing 411. So you look at you actually just look at all the facts that have actually been written down in these national parks where these people have gone missing, and the things that have been found, and when kids have like reappeared, and the actual, when you cannot explain the facts away, that's when you start to think, hang on a second, there's obviously something else at play here, and that's when I'm just like, oh my god. So yeah, I think Sasquatch is real.
Well, you're getting two books. You're getting two books mixed up there by David Paulides. You did write both books. The Missing 411 is about people that go missing in national parks, and it eliminates things like predation. There's no blood. There's no evidence of
serial killers.
Yeah, stuff like that. People literally just disappear around a corner, and even in parties of like large groups of people, in lines of people walking through the wilderness, people just go whoop off the back of a line.
And people from different demographics, ages, and yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. It's so interesting, but that's kind of how I got drawn into it. But it's it's very, very interesting. And the thing is I've made the mistake when I first started getting into this of speaking to people about it, and as soon as you say Bigfoot or Sasquatch, they look at you like you're fucking nuts. But if you come at it from the angle of, okay, so there's this guy, David Paulides, he was an ex-policeman, blah, blah, blah. He's looked at all these cases, and all these missing files, they follow a very similar pattern.
Once again, though, Ellie, you're not going off his actual Bigfoot books. The Bigfoot books were done like a police investigation. You had eyewitness reports given to Harvey Pratt, who's a forensic artist. So they describe what they see. He draws what they saw. There was like hair evidence, DNA evidence, which obviously was passed but then kind of quashed. The Missing 411 books came much further down the line, later in fact. But no, I'll put links to all these things under the show. It's just very interesting.
Oh god, it's fascinating. It's
something you should look into, Spaldner.
But that's the thing that gets people though, Ethan. That's the thing that I've noticed when I've spoken to people, like the folding of the clothes, kids being found like hundreds of miles,
disappearing for 3 hours, and then being found 2 mountain ranges over about 30 miles
with that, with no shoes on, and yet they don't have like scratches on their feet.
But they've got scratches on their body, not going front to back as if you were walking through a thicket of bushes, going from head to toe as if you're being carried, or you're kind of like floating.
It's when you can work it out in your head, but it's when you go to say it that people think you're nuts. It's like you see people thinking it, and you're just like, exactly. Like, how would you explain that away? It's fascinating. It's fucking awesome. I really want to go to Willow Creek. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna fucking drag you with me. Okay. Anyway, we massively digress. Still on mailbag. This part of the mailbag is actually directed to you, Ethan. Ethan, you said in episode 33 that you wondered why the T-1000 never turned into John after grabbing him through the rear window of the car. And that made me wonder if the T-1000 would be capable of doing a believable replica. I know he would be able to look just like him. Would he be able to make himself small enough to pass off looking like a 10-year-old boy? ? I think there's too much metal to be able for him to make himself
totally, I agree with that. Absolutely is. Maybe a portion of him would have to break off. A portion of him. Oh, that's totally.
Yes.
I agree. Well, no, even just like if they did like a flicker of John through his body, like after he kind of gets damaged at the end, you see like this metal like interference flicker go over his body. Maybe just have that. Oh yeah, because
when he's trying to. Yeah, because at the very end, when he's merging in all the different people that he's been, that's a good point, actually.
But just a little flash of that, just to show he had the ability to turn into him, or just like an image of John appeared on his body. I know, I'm totally down with that. You just have to break a piece off. Totally down with it.
And finally, wouldn't you guys think that a Terminator would have the capability to change his vision to adapt better to nighttime driving? I agree, Silberman.
Adapt his vision to nighttime driving. I always thought the red vision, when they were driving, when he says, I can see everything, seems very two-dimensional and not as future technology advanced as it could be. Just a thought. No, I totally agree as well. Yeah, well, I think they set a precedent for the viewing, what the Terminator sees in the first film, and I guess they couldn't really get out of that by the time the second one came along.
Do you know what I've realised?
Predator 2, of course, is famous for that, because Gary Busey's trying to get him in that that abattoir, and then he changes his vision because they've all got like cold suits on, and there's that like nuclear dust in the air, that kind of radioactive dust that will stick to the predator. Hang on. Yes?
Have you got the other part to that?
I don't, sorry, no. I'm in the middle of recording something. Sorry. Sorry, there's lots of decorating going on at the moment, listeners.
Ethan, it's high as a kite. I've just had a thought. We've seen vision from the T800s. How can we never see T1000 vision?
I always presumed that's when everyone understood kind of when he'd turn his head and look around. I would imagine he'd see everything from all angles if every piece is a tiny machine.
Can I say something really lame now? In my small mind, like, I'm a kid again. I'm watching this for the first time when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9. I'd imagine if I was a T1000, for some reason, I wouldn't see everything in red. I'd see it in blue.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Because the red is quite, I don't know, I associate that with like the 8-bit, and it's all kind of very matrixy, and whereas with the blue, it's a lot more fluid, and the liquid metal, yeah, I don't know. I reckon his vision would be blue. Just going to throw my 2 cents there. And also, Spaldner interjected again onto our lovely page, and he's commented on the fact when we were talking about the theme tunes and my disdain against Sam Smith, because I think he's a fucking gimp. He has written on our page, and my favourite Bond song to date is Chris Cornell's You Know My Name from Daniel Craig's Casino Royale.
Yeah,
Love that
that's good.
song. He loves that song.
You should look out for some of the rejected, I think I put it on the last episode, but some of the rejected scores for Quantum of Solace, because oh my god, the Alicia Keys one. The Adele one's, I guess, okay, but it doesn't really go anywhere. But it's, God.
Yeah.
It's Oscar-worthy compared to that Sam Smith. I hope they change that, because it's gone off the internet. It's really hard to find now, so I'm assuming...
What I don't understand is why does there have to be this... I guess it's kind of a trope, isn't it? There has to be a new celebrity to sing for the new Bond film. Like, why does that have to be?
Well, usually a Bond singer will work in conjunction with the composer. So usually David Arnold, who does the music, will work with a band. The same way John Barry did with a-ha, and the same way he did with Duran Duran. And then they'll incorporate that melody into the score as well.
Mm.
So, a-ha famously fell out with John Barry because there's 2 versions of the a-ha song, but if you go on the line and you put in a-ha Living Daylights extended mix, that's the version that a-ha wanted to use without any of the orchestrations. So, basically John Barry overruled them and did their lyrics, of course, and their melody, but he put his like John Barry touch to it. It sounds like much, much better. But yeah, even now, your beloved Morton Harkett says, no, our version was better. John Barry didn't know what he was doing. The point is, Thomas Newman is the composer of the new Bond film, and if he's working with Sam Smith, how that got past the censors...
Fuck knows. He's fucking him.
Well,
or he gives one hell of a blowjob.
Seriously. Something's going on.
Sam fucking Smith?
I think it needs a bridge or a chorus or something. It's all build up. It never actually goes anywhere, and it's really very flat. And it doesn't have that kind of brassy driving score that Bond themes kind of need to have.
I mean, we can't now because God rest her soul, she's dead. I think someone like Amy Winehouse would have had a great voice for like a James Bond movie. She's got that real kind of soul kind of... Yeah,
but I assume that she was meant to do...
Theatrical almost.
She was meant to do Skyfall, wasn't she?
Oh God, it's so sad. I knew it was going to happen, but I was genuinely so sad when fucking Amy Winehouse died. Incredibly talented girl. We miss you, Amy. We do.
Well, I imagine it'd be along the lines of Skyfall anyway.
Maybe. But anyway, fuck you, Sam Smith. You fag. Although Ethan found him...
The opinions of this podcast does not reflect in anything or agree with Ellie.
No, my opinion is just...
Your opinion is your own. Now fuck Sam Smith.
Exactly. It represents nobody. Okay, so in this particular 2 minutes of this scene... haven't discuss the Terminator tour.
Well, basically, it begins with
Ethan.
Yes, of course. The scene, of course. God, 24 minutes in, we're just talking about the film. Sorry, everyone. Whatever. What are you gonna do? The scene begins with Robert Patrick going, "Say, that's a nice bike."
Is that not the gayest part of this movie?
Yeah.
Isn't like that could actually be really seen as quite homosexual.
Of course, they should be playing Scat Brothers Walk
like,
the Night under it.
Yeah, dude, exactly that. It's like full on Blue Oyster fucking. It's the way he kind of like his eyes draw like up. He goes, "Hey, nice bike." It's like,
exactly.
That was gay as fuck. I literally said it as I watched it when I was looping. I was like, well, that was gay. God,
well, basically,
oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. It's gonna sound really lovely and tinny down the recording.
This is Scat
Walk
Brothers.
the Night by the Scat Brothers.
Walk the Night.
Greatest fucking track ever. I sent it to Ethan and it's become his mantra.
It's got the best hook ever. This should be the Bond song.
Yes. Bondage Bond. Oh my god, it's so good. Genuinely dancing.
We'll put a link to it under the show. I think I've done this before, like numerous times during this tenure of shows.
I don't think we've put Walk the Night up.
The video is basically Al Pacino huffing paint fumes and dancing with a load of gay men.
Oh, it's amazing.
In the film, I think he's tried to bury, which is cruising.
He shouldn't know. It's a really fucking weird and wonderful movie.
Anyway, on with the facts. As they were leaving after he says, "Say that's a
Is
nice
there a
bike."
fact attack?
Yeah.
Fact attack.
Oh, Ellie. Yeah, basically there was not a cut scene. It was scripted, but never actually filmed. There was a short moment of a ranting Silverman being hauled away in a straitjacket.
Oh wow.
So
I've never seen that.
That would have been his kind of like, I guess, comic book villain just desserts, ending up in the same place that he was putting other people. A bit like Mr. Bartok's demise in The Fly 2 when he gets turned into the Bartok monster.
Ah. So was that just an idea, or did any of that ever get filmed?
No. As I said, it was scripted, and they just never actually filmed it. I suppose because it would have like made it a bit silly. I guess maybe, I don't know. But there's some stupid moments, like you said, going, "Say that's a nice bike." So who knows? Maybe it would have worked. Maybe it wouldn't.
I feel like, I don't know. I would have loved to have just punched him in the face. He did annoy me throughout both movies. Such a douchebag.
Perfect casting then.
Boff.
Earl Bowen, Dr. Silberman.
Al Pacino is not around this evening. It did actually make me think in this scene when, you know, where John's holding up the Terminator's jacket and he's looking at all the holes. He's looking at the light as it comes through, so you can see where he's been shot. I was thinking, Ethan, can you do the same thing after a night at TG? Can you lift your like fucking leather trousers and look and see the holes where the ammonia from all the fucking piss spray, where it's been shot all over your fucking legs all night? Do you reckon you could do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Not quite the same as bullets, but I'm sure ammonia is just as strong.
The police bike, by the way, is a Kawasaki 1000 police bike.
Oh,
Just
nice
saying.
bike is a Kawasaki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
The gas station they actually wind up in at the end of the scene when Arnold like flips the shutters and busts the I guess what would you call it, the padlock, so they can hide inside the gas station for that night. It's in the Lancaster Palmdale district, and it's off the main highway. Petrol pumps are added by the art department. Fact attack.
Fact attack. That was a good one. That was something I was going to ask you. So I was a bit confused. So we've got this petrol station, or gas station, or whatever they call it in America, and then you've got these kind of garages. Like, how would he know that all that shit was in there?
Like what?
Well, is that something that happens in America? Do they have these garages by petrol stations? I've never been to America, so I've never seen anything like that at a petrol station in England.
I've driven across the entire US of A, and they have gas stations and garages all over the place.
So they have garages like next door to the gas station.
My only question would be, like with all that stuff in it, the tools and things, it looks like a working gas station. Why is it shut? America's 24-hour, baby.
I guess it depends which area you're in. I don't know. I've never been. I really want to go though. I'd love to go. So I'm currently watching Sarah just pushing those bloody pliers into Arnold pulling out the bullets. God, that must be so bizarre. And it's now that we actually get a little bit of a rundown where Arnold Schwarzenegger's talking about his CPU and what his objectives are, and about the fact that he can't think too much. What is it he says? That when they're going out alone, that they're not meant to think too much or something. I don't know.
Well, she says Skynet doesn't want you thinking too much, so the CPU is switched to this doll switched to evil.
Can we reset the switch?
Well, here's
where my 2 minutes.
Here's an in-joke / fact for you, Ellie.
Ooh.
On the gas station and on the petrol pumps, the gas pumps, Benthic Petrolium is the company logo.
Oh, product placement.
Not really, it's a fake product, but it's the petroleum company that's in the abyss.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So I'm not sure if that's meant to indicate it's in the same... Terminator universe is in the same universe that the aliens appear and threaten us to kill the planet if we stop nuclear wars and things at the end of the special edition of The Abyss. Or it's just James Cameron doing it as a bit of a gag going, oh, look, it's the gas company from the... it's Cameron's gas company. I don't know.
Cameron's gas.
Cameron's gas.
Let's just call it Cass.
Cameron's got gas.
They must be pros. Have you ever had to do a DIY job on a stitch and stitch yourself up? Have you ever had to do that?
I haven't. I did have to call the ambulance when I sliced my arm down to the bone and there was no one around, and I had to wrap it in bathrobes that went black with blood within 30 seconds, and I had to call the medical professionals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people that have actually done kind of like homemade stitches. I don't know if I could actually do
John
that.
Rambo
myself.
is a fictitious character, not your friend. Stop making it up.
No, I do know a couple of people that have done, literally have kind of stitched themselves back together, because I know a lot of tradesmen and a couple of them are tree surgeons where they've had like slips and they've got cuts and they've had to kind of just literally sew themselves. It's like a bloody scene out of the Mighty Boosh. Moose back! And you see these kind of odd jobs that they've done on themselves. I was just wondering if a man who's quite arty, I was like, have you ever cut yourself and had to kind of, do a botched job? No?
Yeah.
Never had to
I haven't, no.
sew up a wound? Do you think you could if need be?
No.
Why?
I just think that's one of those easier said than done things. Stitching, I don't know. I guess you'd have to if you had to, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you just stitch the surface, but if the flesh was actually split and cut as well, would you actually have to stitch into the flesh as well, or just?
Yeah, fuck yeah!
Layer?
I actually really like the sound that it makes when he first pulls the.
I might start watching YouTube videos of people doing stitches and things.
It makes a really satisfying sound when the scene first goes to Sarah being stitched up, and you literally hear it being pulled through the skin. Obviously, it's not the skin; it's the plastic that the special effect guys use. But I don't know. I love all that kind of stuff. It's like last night I was watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I watched a few horror movies last night, trying to scare myself, and there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was like the really shitty remake, and there was a part where he was like sewing through his cheek. I was like, fucking hell, I wonder what that actually feel like. I don't know. I'm quite into morbid, weird, picky things, so I think I quite enjoy sewing someone up.
You mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger having the bullets pulled out of his back.
Indeed.
They're actually retractable pliers, Ellie.
Retractable pliers?
Yeah, he's got an appliance across his entire back, and he's got things in there, of course, and she uses retractable... She puts the retractable pliers into the hole in the back, and it looks like they're going very deep in.
Yeah, it looks fucking gnarly, man.
And Linda's appliance is a Lexan-backed appliance for stitching, basically, so you can't get to her skin underneath it, and you can stitch away to your heart's content. It took an hour and a half to apply.
It took an hour and a half. I'm on the brander. Ooh, fuck. Yeah, no, that looks gnarly. Also, I thought that, considering John probably hasn't seen his mum for a very long time, I know shit's crazy, they seem very kind of calm in each other's presence. I would have thought that maybe they'd be asking more questions, or John would definitely be asking more questions.
Well, I'm sure they would, but it just depends on... I mean, they just chose to propel the story and show you those bits, but I'm sure they were burying him with questions. She asked him questions on the way, and then they asked questions after the gas station where he explains about Dyson and stuff. So I suppose the intonation is there that they ask him many, many questions.
He does look so good in this movie, though. Arnie, he still looks pretty fucking young. How old was he when he was in this movie again? Sorry.
He was 38 when he did Predator in 87 or 39, so he's about 43, 42 here.
Considering he's in his 40s, he looks fucking banging.
He's 68 now.
I know you do. I know you massively disagree.
Final pictures.
No. But no, I think in this movie he looks amazing. He looks so good. Like, there's this bit where you see Sarah's face and then you see Arnold like sewing her up from behind, and you just think, no, for a dude in his 40s, looks fucking amazing. Good angles, great shadows. I wonder how many bullets they actually pulled out. Also, Ethan, when I was looping this as well.
Yes, Ellie.
Which edition is it where, because there's like an extra bit, I don't know whether we're going to have the one where she all of a sudden goes to smash the fucking CPU or not. Is that going to happen?
Yes, that happens in this.
But isn't that like an extra?
No. No, that's in the actual film.
I swear there's like an extra bit. I swear... maybe not.
Oh, I know what you mean. Sorry, yes. The regular theatrical cut doesn't have the CPU removal or that subplot or her hitting it. We're watching the special edition version. I'm trying to locate a Skynet version that will play on our systems so we can correct the timeline, a bit like in the actual film.
And Ethan genuinely has that outfit.
Oh, Ellie.
Oh, Ethan.
I have to say, I'm getting a bit concerned with these agent letters coming back with the no.
What, they're like coming back now?
No, but the ones I'm actually seeing.
Oh, I didn't realise you were reading them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Extracurriculars, darling, extracurriculars. We are with the 2-minute Terminator right now. I was going to say, did you want to add any more to this particular scene? 2 minutes?
I don't know.
No.
We filled it with anything but Terminator and covered the clip in like 2 minutes. Sorry everyone, I'm a bit discombobulated today. There's decoration happening. The house is in disarray. I apologise. Tomorrow we'll be back.
Ethan's been huffing paint.
Essentially, yes.
Yes.
So, thank you all for listening. Yeah. What?
Nothing.
No,
Carry on.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We shall return tomorrow with another episode. Asta.
La vista.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
for machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines. They will rule the world. I'll be back.